What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a very exciting video for you here. It's the first time I've put tournament rounds on YouTube, and that has to do mostly with the fact that I don't play tournament rounds anymore. But I saw there was a 2-day stroke play event about an hour and a half away at Pikeville Country Club, so John and I hopped in the car and we went and filmed every shot, which includes a playoff at the end, so make sure you stay to the end, see how it all goes down. Without further ado, let's get after it. Let's watch some tournament golf. So number one here at Pikeville Country Club, it's a par 5, and what you're going to see on a lot of these tee shots is severe tilts. That's kind of the whole name of the game, is getting it in play off the tee out here, and it's so left to right, there's water on the right. So I was literally aiming this left of the cart path and just trusting that half the time if I hit it left where I'm aiming, it kicks back somewhere decent. This ended up being a really good one, and left me about 240, very uphill though. And again, you can see the tilt, right, goes off the planet into the woods there. So I did a really good job to hook it into the left side, guarantee myself a nice look at the third shot here, and about 25 yards, downslope, early morning, wet, rough. Got the dew. I took a huge bounce. I landed that where I wanted with a 60 degree, and it still just skidded up that hill. So a really good shot. Ended up about 15 feet past, and even though this was a downhill putt, you still had to hit putts really hard. The greens are very slow and not the smoothest, so you had to give them good hits. That was a great putt with perfect speed, but a really unfortunate lip out. But that is a tap-in par, keeps me even through one. Number 2 here, in hindsight, I wish I would just send driver to the left trees. This is another one where if you hit it right side of the fairway even, it'll kick all the way down into the woods and be no good. So this is just a stinger 2-iron up the left side, really good shot. Ended up in the rough, but obviously a fine lie. And I think this is about 110, hit a 54 degree. Again, you saw that chip on the first hole. The greens were extremely bouncy generally. Like, the ball will just trampoline. So on these wedges, sometimes you have to play for it to like bounce up the hill. And pretty good shot to about 15 feet here and good roll. But again, you're going to see a lot. The greens are very, very slow. It's just hard to get putts to the hole. So that's another tap-in par. Keeps me even through 2. Number 3 here is a nice par 3, 170 yards, a little in the breeze. Going with the 7-iron. This pin was super tucked, so just aiming about 25 feet right. Pushed it maybe 10 feet right where I was aiming, but really solid shot, hole high, about 40 feet for the birdie. And obviously just trying to get down into, have good speed. This looked all over it, just hit it maybe a foot or two too hard. Like I said, with slow greens, you have to just kind of kill it, and so it's hard to be really dialed in. But I cleaned it up for the par, keeps me at even. When I tell you number 4 here is the diciest tee shot I've ever seen, I mean it. The hole's 330, so downhill though. The fairway is mostly rocks and dirt, and so you can get some extremely crazy kicks. That was a 9-iron down the middle of the fairway, ended up left rough, barely hung on. And from here, it was 90 yards, wet, thick Bermuda. Again, I'm kind of guarding against the jumper, and the greens are also generally trampoliny, like I said. And that one, for whatever reason, just stuck. So played for it to kind of bounce and release towards the hole from that thick rough. Didn't do it. Just a tap-in par, keeps me at even. So number 5 here, another one of the diciest tee shots. If you miss this fairway either direction, it just kicks into the woods, and the edge of the fairways are sloped away. It's kind of crowned, so you have to hit just a threaded, perfect cut. That was a dime of a 2-iron. I still had 185 back into the wind, though. Still not an easy second shot, but a really good swing on a 6-iron. Hit it a little bit left, but if you miss the green right, it kicks down into the trees like you can see there. So being a little left was a good spot. This chip should have been so straightforward. It's such a downslope. All I was trying to do is pop it right on the green. Kind of took a bad bounce, went straight right instead of forward. So what should have been a really easy chip to get close, one bad bounce, all of a sudden I have worked for the par. Played this, I think, left edge, and it just, went hard right for whatever reason. So, tap in bogey stunk because those are 2 good swings. But that takes me to 1 over on the day. The good thing is number 6 is a par 5. Good chance to get it back. I hit a bomb right down the left center. This hole's kind of into the wind as well, so even after a good drive, I was about 255 still into the wind. Had to just hit this as hard as I could to try to get it up there. It's one of those that there's no risk in trying to swing hard. So I went ahead and did it. Leaked it out right, not the best swing, but left me a 40-yard pitch, 30-something maybe yards. Again, pretty straightforward other than trying to judge the bounce. Again, they're usually trampoliny. That took that big bounce, but again, as soon as the ball's rolling on the green, it hits the brakes hard. About 10 feet for the birdie here. Great roll, knocked it down, got me back to even.
Good birdie.
So number 7 here, I keep saying it, but these tee shots are so dicey, and this is another one. If you hit it right side of the fairway, it kicks right and goes into some hazard that you just probably won't find your ball. So this is another one I'm being really conservative, aiming left, just taking the hazard out of play. Left me a little bit of a blind shot, but from 140, no problem. It was back into the wind, but I had a flyer lie, so just guarding against the flyer, as always from that rough, I kind of air short, and it didn't jump, and the wind smoked it, so I was a little short of the green, but a good spot. Pretty straightforward pitch there, cozied it to about 3 feet, and I just cleaned it up for the par to stay at even through 7. Number 8 is one of my favorite holes on the course. I'm such a sucker for a downhill short par 3. This one's 140 to that right 10. This was really tricky though because the wind should have been left to right mostly, but it felt in our face. You can even see the flag going right to left. So there's a lot of uncertainty. I ended up taking a pitching wedge, just aiming kind of conservative. Just wanted to hit the green in two putt. You know, if you fly that green at all, it kicks into the hazard, goes long. So you'd rather just put something safely in the green. I got my two putt and I got out of there at even par. Number nine's a huge dogleg right. I think it's only like 280 to the green direct line. I really wanted to go for it. This is one of those that if I'd played this course enough times, kind of had a feel for where to aim, I definitely would send driver. But with OB long in play, I should have looked at 3-wood, left me with a nice comfortable number, about 115. And so I hit a pretty stock 54 degree. Again, I'm playing for this big first bounce that you usually get on these greens, but every now and then you'll just get a random soft bounce. And that's what I got there. That wedge stuck. So I had about 20 feet instead of what should have been pretty close and just didn't get it there. So tap and par, that's even on the front nine. Everything I said about driving the green on 9, copy and paste it for 10 here. It's about the same yardage. I definitely could drive the green, but it's just so uncertain hitting over the trees. And, you know, in a stroke play tournament, we're just trying to hit fairways and greens. From 92 yards in the fairway, super unfortunate, caught a flyer. The ball was above my feet, so I was trying to hit my little fade, but because it jumped, it just had no fade and then ended up bouncing left. Had this really awkward chip from the edge of the rough here. Did a pretty good job with it. I mean, it was an awkward lie, but obviously that was really slow. It hit the brakes hard, and you see me tapping down. I knew this putt wasn't going to roll very well. Tried to hit it firm left edge, and it just didn't have enough oomph on it. So really tough bogey from 90 yards in the middle of the fairway, but dropped me to 1 over. Number 11 here. It's such a sick hole. Kind of just poking a 5-iron. You know, you have to avoid some spots where it might shoot really hard, and you kind of have to watch it, make sure it stays in the fairway. But really good 5-iron right in the middle. I had about 95 yards, and again, I keep playing for that big first bounce. So I'm trying to land this 91, 92 in there. I hit my number perfectly, and the ball just sticks. So we're just seeing some very different green reactions, you know, from shot to shot, chip to chip. And that was just a great putt that, you know, good speed, lip out. Those are tough. Like number 1, you know, nothing you can really do. Number 12 can be a really gettable par 5 if you hit the fairway, but it's another one of those, if you hit the right edge of the fairway, it's going to kick into the trees, lost ball potential. So this is another one, like number 1, I'm kind of aiming left of the fairway basically, and you almost just hope you miss it right of your spread. But pulled this one about 10-15 yards off the tee, so all I could do is kind of punch it down there, and ended up with about 85 yards for this third shot. Pretty good play, just, you know, a little left, a little safe. Left me about 25 feet up the hill, obviously low chance of making it. I gave it a huge hit, so left it short, but tap and par, you know, not the end of the world. Number 13 is just a full send driver. Unless you hit it way right, you can kind of hit it anywhere here. You're just kind of a pitch shot, so good rip down the right center. Left me about 55 yards or so. It's kind of tough. This front right pin, obviously not a good lie right here. It's kind of tight, you could say. 55 yards uphill to a short-sided pin. This was such a good shot. I think it landed right next to it, but just took a big hop and went past. Again, sometimes big hop, sometimes not a big hop. But putting back down the hill here, I mean, I know they're slow, but this was such a downhill putt. I thought it would be a little less slow, and I still left it short. So it's just another tap and par, keeps me at 1 over. Number 14 was 177, uphill but downwind. I hit just a stock 7-iron. It really stunk because that was one of the best swings of the day. I don't know if the wind just wasn't really helping, but I thought 7-iron would be able to cover that front edge, and it just didn't. So had this chip back up the hill. I'm sure by now you can tell how uphill putts and chips go. Very hard to get there. And then same thing here with the par putt. I mean, I gave that a good hit. It's just, what can you do on those? But that's a bogey. Drops me to 2 over on the day. Number 15 is tough tee shot on this par 5. Obviously, the fairway itself isn't necessarily narrow, but it's one of those, if you're at the right edge of the fairway, it's going to kick hard right and be a lost ball. So going 3-wood up the left side, really good shot just to find the fairway. I actually had 260 to the green, but it's up over this hill and it runs down at the green. So from 260, I took a 4-iron, just kind of punched it and figured I'd get a ton of roll, and got up there pretty nice, you know, just short left of the green here, and had a really straightforward pitch, and actually had a ball kind of land and do what I thought it would do. So cozied up there to about 1 foot, had a little tap in birdie to get back to 1 over. Number 16 might be the most tilted golf hole I've ever seen. I mean, you truly have to land this left side of the fairway, or else it's going to kick right into the trees. So with a 4-iron here, I think I landed edge of the fairway to end up dead center. But it left me 133. I had pitching wedge here. This is tough to judge with the wind. You know, it's in off the left, but obviously there's trees blocking it, so I couldn't feel it. Wasn't the most committed swing. Didn't want to miss left, so flared it out here to about 45 feet. But did a really good job with the speed here on the slag putt. I had to hit that very hard, and I did a good job. Putted up there to about 2.5 feet. And guys, I'm telling you, this is just a straight in putt that just went 2 or 3 inches left for no reason. But tap and bogey back to 2 over. Number 17 is an awesome downhill par 3. It was about 120 to this pin, so very gettable hole. I figured it was playing about 115. It was a little downwind, if anything, so stock 54. I hit a great shot right over the pin, just went a little longer than I expected. But a good swing, you know, nothing to complain about. Had about 20 feet for the birdie here, and it just didn't break, you know. Looked like it would go left and it didn't, but Tap in par keeps me at 2 over. So going to the last here, number 18 is kind of a longer par 4. Just looking to hit a little fade. Obviously, the trees force you to hit a little bit of one, but great swing right down the middle of the fairway with that DOD. It left me about 170, but it was very into the wind. It's sneaky uphill here too, so I figured it was just probably playing 180, just smooth the 6 iron and put a really nice swing on it. But you can see the flag kind of blow in. I think it's just hurting more than I thought, so it was a little short, but in a good spot. Super straightforward chip, and made it look easy, cozy up there, and just had a little tap in par to shoot 2 over in that first round. That put me at tied third, 1 shot back in second place. All right, so final round here. I'm not going to talk about the holes as much because it's obviously the same as the day before, but this was a really nice swing. I just thought it would kick off the hill like I talked about it. It should feed off. You can see how sloped it is. Didn't do that, so kind of had to rope a 4 iron around the trees here. With the ball below my feet, not easy, but did a good job. Got it in the fairway. Had about 120 here, went with 50 degree. Ball's below my feet with the wind off the left. I was kind of just trying to work it in left to right. Just needed to cut it maybe a little bit more, but solid hole high. Gave myself a good look at birdie and good speed. Nothing to complain about there. Tap in par. So even through one. Number 2, going with the same driving 2 iron, trying to hit a little cut. This time it just didn't quite fade. This was maybe 20 yards left where I hit it in round 1. So instead of kind of kicking right and fading in, it went through into the other fairway. Left me this shot, which was pretty sick, I'm not going to lie. Just punched 9 iron through that gap in the trees. Scooted up there to maybe 12 feet. So ended up having a great look at birdie. Really thought this would break. Didn't make any sense. It didn't, but good speed, good roll, even through 2. Number 3 here, it's still about 180 to the back right pin, maybe 185. I really couldn't commit to anything here. I thought it should be like a full 7 iron, but the wind might have been into. It should have been into, the predominant wind, and just I went with 6, made myself hit it, and I kind of babied on it. So pulled it pretty bad, missed the green left, and this pitch just took off. I mean, you guys saw some chips from round 1. Like the greens sometimes bounce, sometimes stick. That just took a huge bounce. So, ended up with about 22 feet for the par back up the hill. Just not going to make those out there really. So tap and bogey drops me to 1 over on the day. So number 4, same as the first round. It's just a 9 iron aiming in the middle of the fairway and hoping it doesn't bounce like crazy. Thankfully put a good swing right down the middle. We actually saw this take a giant left bounce. Had me worried, but ended up okay, left side of the fairway. This, I'm telling you, like watch the flag. I'm playing my normal fade on all these shots. The wind was left to right, like you can see the flag going, and that ball got pushed left. I mean, it's a wedge, I'm pretty good with my wedges. Don't know what happened, but it bounced into the hazard, didn't find it, so I had to take a drop. This was actually a really hard pitch, too, up the hill from that thick rough. Did a great job judging it, and ended up getting away with the bogey here, which all things considered not bad, but on a solid wedge shot, that stunk. So 2 over through 4 on the day. This is another one of those tee shots. I mean, you hit it anywhere other than that 20-yard window, it's probably going to kick into the trees and be lost. I really flirted with it here up the right side, ended up in the dirt. This was 215, second shot, back pin, full 4 iron here. The wind was off the left. I put a really good swing on it, just kind of overcut. I mean, we're splitting hairs here, missing it 10 yards right from 215, but really solid shot up here. Left myself a normal pitch, I would say, but again, just the bounces. Like we've seen some uphill chips stick. We've seen some bounce. I just got that really big trampoline bounce and ended up having, 9 or 10 feet for par, which putts are not going down. So tough scene. That's 3 straight bogeys and drops me to 3 over on the day. The good thing is we have a par 5 here, and like yesterday, I hit a really good ball, trying to do the same thing. Kind of had a foot slip. I mean, it was one of those like, man, is something going to go wrong on every shot? But hit the tree, kicked way left. Not the worst, not the best. Just in the other fairway here, shipping a 3-wood back over the trees. Not that hard of a shot, honestly. So all things considered, we'll take it, I guess. But it left me about 70 yards here. This one really hurt. Again, we've seen some big bounces, especially in round 2. I tried to land this 10 feet short, landed it perfectly 10 feet short, and that spun back. I don't think a single wedge shot all tournament has spun back except that one. So instead of being really close, I had, 13, 14 feet, missed it, made par. So we're really struggling here. The scoring is really tough, 3 over through 6. Number 7 here, same thing as last time. Right's terrible, so I'm basically aiming like left edge of the fairway, knowing that it's fine, just blast this into the left rough, and that's what I did here. So basically the same spot, 130-ish blind shot, but no problem to that front pin. I think I took a pitching wedge. It's the same into the wind as before. If it jumps, great. If not, no biggie. And I hit a really solid shot to the front fringe. I did think about chipping this because the fairway is not the smoothest, but I felt like it would be okay if I hit it hard. So I killed it, and it just bumped really bad, went nowhere. I mean, again, it's 30 feet, from the fringe. I can get that within a tap in 100 out of 100, and it just bumped. But really unfortunate, man. I really grinded on that. I was like, I do not want to make a 4th bogey. I hit the putt I wanted to. It just kind of bumped left on me. what can you do? So 4 over through 7, you know, trying to dig deep here. I mean, there's nothing going my way. I'm not playing great, obviously. Like that round 1, I really striped it, especially off the tee, and not quite hitting it as well, but really just getting some bad breaks, some bad green luck. Trying to dig deep. That was a really good swing. Just kind of a chippy 9-iron. Got it hole high back there. Gave that a good rip, but you know, 30 feet up the hill. Tough to get there. We'll take a tap in par though to that pin. Keeps me at 4 over. So if you notice, I've been missing it left up until this point, and for whatever reason, I had this kind of conscious thought of like a swing feel that I like to have when I'm hitting pull fades. And this shot right here was the start of really turning this round around. What happens a lot is I'll get a good feeling and it's kind of one of those, ooh, okay, I'm good now. And then every shot after that ends up being good. And that's what I really got there. So we're about to see some good pull fades. I started to get really comfortable just with that one tee shot. And then I actually stopped lining up putts and was just determined to get putts to the hole. Made my first birdie today to turn it 3 over, which obviously isn't great, but that was a little momentum. And again, something to build on. The swing feel started to feel really good. This hole was just built for my stinger cut 2-iron, and I'm all of a sudden feeling really good. So great ball right down the middle, left me 86 to this pin. Taking dead aim, obviously, trying to just stuff it. Perfect shot, hole high, about 7-8 feet left. Really good play. And again, not lining up the putts anymore, just trying to get putts there. And this was a really good one. It just, I mean, I don't know that I could hit a 9-footer harder than that, but tap in par keeps me at 3 over. Number 11, honestly, making this video, looking back, I think this might be my favorite hole in the course. I love just a cool, scenic, downhill, kind of pokey tee shot hole. We just hit a 5-iron right down the middle, and then you get a nice downhill wedge. But from 80 yards here, obviously taking dead aim again, trying to stuff it. And I'm telling you, man, I just got a good feeling on the 9 tee shot, started hitting good shots, and threw a little dart there, 6 feet for the birdie, and lip out with perfect speed because I haven't had enough of those already apparently. And yeah, just tough scoring out there, but it keeps me at 3 over. Number 12 is at par 5 where right's dead, so I'm basically aiming left of the fairway again. And really, I hit the same exact ball I hit round 1. It's about 10 yards left where I'm aiming, but that just gets me up behind these trees a little bit where I've got to kind of rope hook the second shot. Did a good job, kind of clipped the dirt in front of me, but got the shape right, scooted it up there. Had about 65 yards here for the third. This was such a flyer. I mean, 65 yards, you think it can only jump so much, but that landed right on the hole and ended up going like 35 feet past. So really tough 2-putt, which, you know, unfortunate. Didn't get to capitalize on this hole either day. And shoot, even had work here for the par. This putt broke a cup with firm speed, but knocked it down for par, kept me at 3 over. Number 13 is another gettable hole, you know, relatively. It's just not that hard of a tee shot. A lot of these tee shots, if you hit it either way, you lose your ball. This one's not too bad. So driver down the right side. This was a weird lie just in that it was such thick grass. You can see it's kind of burnt out. It wasn't like Bermuda. It really wasn't a predictable lie. So, you know, this doesn't look great from like 85 yards, but honestly, it could have been worse. And, you know, I mean, that putt speaks for itself. Basically just trying to get down in 2 and whacked it up the hill, tapped it in for a par. Number 14, I really learned from the first round when I hit that perfect 7-iron that didn't get there. Even though it should be downwind, I think just this hole sitting low enough in the trees, you don't really get the help. So I went with a 6-iron this time, same yardage, hit a great shot, got it a hole high, left me about 35, 40 feet here for the birdie. And, I mean, just can't hit a better putt than this. Good speed, good everything. Just another lip out with good speed. I mean, y'all know how it is sometimes. It just feels like no matter what you do, it doesn't work. But that was a par, kept me at 3 over. Number 15 is at par 5, where if you hit the right side of the fairway, it goes right in the trees. So I'm aiming a little left. I tugged this one a little more than the day before, and it just crossed the path. No big deal, but I actually had to hook this 40 yards, maybe 50 even. Honestly, I didn't realize how hard of a shot this was until I got up here, realized I almost went left where it's just not going to stop. You can see how tilted it is. So either way, we have 65 yards. That was a super good shot just to give us a little pitch. Like I've been saying the whole time, you know, you're guessing, is it going to take the huge bounce or a soft bounce? And I told John I feel like it's probably going to take a big bounce here. Took a soft bounce. So again, instead of having kind of a short putt, we have 18 feet and don't make it. You've seen the story before. It's really frustrating, tough to score. But that is a tap-in par, keeps me at 3 over. Number 16 here, again, we're aiming left edge of the fairway. I actually pushed this a little right down the middle of the fairway. It should be fine, but had to watch it a little bit to make sure it didn't kick too far right. Stayed in the fairway. I think I had the same numbers before, like 132. Going with a pitching wedge, you know, the day before I kind of bailed right. This, I just committed to hitting a good shot, pulled it 10 feet, ended up here in the thick rough. Wasn't that bad of a shot, but good little chip there, you know, gave myself 5-6 feet. Again, the bounces, like that could have bounced hard or not, so really good putt, you know, saved par. You know, we're 3 over at this point, all pars on the back 9 while hitting almost all good shots. Scoring's just so tough, and you can't make a putt, you can't judge bounces. there's just no way to predict it. Number 17 here, though, 138. Great swing right at it with a pitching wedge. Left myself about 12 feet up the hill. I mean, I knew it would be slow. I killed it, and I still left it 2 feet short. I mean, truly don't know that I could have gotten that putt there. I hit as hard as I could and left it 2 feet short. So tap in par, still at 3 over, 1 hole to go. Number 18, you have to hit a fade. You know, trees force you into it, but thankfully that's what I'm hitting. Great ball right down the middle. At about 170, this is that, you know, sneaky uphill shot. And again, it should be into the wind. I did not commit to this, obviously. Worst swing of the back nine. I was kind of in between 7 and 6 and just made myself at 6, but then was scared to hit it. So I just kind of bailed, flared out to the right. You know, not a great leave. This is a pretty lengthy shot for the third. Good pitch. Big old bounces. Again, kind of a coin toss, but left me about 6, 7 feet here for the par. Big breaker, and thankfully it went down, you know. Probably the only putt I made over 2 feet the entire tournament. So it turns out that putt was to be tied third. So we went to a playoff. My guy Cody here, he's the head pro at this course. So we went back to 18 for a little playoff to see who gets the money for third. So 18 here, I piped mine right down the middle. Cody stepped up, also piped it. Kind of hit a nasty little stinger cut here, by the way. Shout out to that shot. It was nasty. Respect it, you know. But I had exactly the same yardage, and so instead of hitting a chippy 6 and not being committed to it, I was like, you know what, I'm just roasting a 7 this time. And it's crazy how that worked out. I learned from, you know, don't take a club that you feel like you have to baby, and I hit a great shot, threw it to about 10 feet. Cody put a really good swing on this. Again, I'm telling you guys, it's so sneaky uphill and into the wind. It just doesn't feel like it would play as long as it does. And he just ended up a little bit short, came back down the hill. So, again, I'm looking really good to have a, you know, great chance at birdie. Par's in the bag, and you know, just not his best pitch here, a little short. So basically a must make here for him for the par, and it just doesn't quite go right for him. So that just means I have 2 putts to win here, uphill 11 feet, you know, just a formality. And of course, cozy it, tap it in for the par, win the playoff. So I ended up third in this tournament, which of course I didn't have expectations, but you know, solid golf.